Oh, uh, I see you guys right there. Yeah, so, let's see what day. Oh, it's January 8th. You know what that means? JJK Season 3 dropped. And, well, yeah, I've already watched it, and I just gotta say, based on the first few episodes, the Mappa animation slaves, quite frankly, cooked. I mean, for crying out loud, the fight scene between Yuji and Yuta, which, by the way, spoiler warning, obviously, this is analysis on the first two episodes that are out. The fight scene between Yuji and Yuta was one of the most satisfying ones I've seen brought to screen throughout the entire manga. Because, like, for instance, like, the cursed jumping of, like, um, you know, Nanami Maki and, Naoya, or Naobito, we'll get to Naoya in a second, was quite frankly, just that of jumping. But then when Toji came in, it was exquisite. Well, throw all that out the window with the levels of power that came with just the pull up for that fight between Yuji and Akotsu, or Yuta, whatever you want to call him. Because beforehand we've got Yuji and Chozo going around the remains of Tokyo, just killing rogue cursed spirits that they just lure in to exterminate them. Then suddenly, after like they collect a kill streak and probably can get probably can get an airstrike, definitely can get a UAV or something. They are just Naoya just crashes the party and it's just like, well, Itadori Yuji, and I don't know who the hell you are. I'm here to kill you now because it's a crime for your existence. Then Yuta pulls up right whenever they're fighting and getting baffled by Naoya's curse technique. And Naoya starts sweet talking him like, "Oh, I'll handle this thing over here if you handle Yuji." So then there's two fights basically happening at the same time. But I want to cover Yuji uh, now and Akotsu first because it's over quicker, and also it's what the episode opens on. The episode opens on Yuji fleeing from curses as Yuta chases him. Sorry that I'm stuttering. I'm still excited about this. Um, like I just got done watching the episodes, by the way. So basically, he's fleeing from Yuta, and then they eventually, like, one of the big curses grabs him and throws him onto a building after, you know, Yuta, like, slices his hand off. So they're just laying there in the wreckage. Yuji's being held sword point by Yuta on the ground. And then, they take it outside the building they were in. Yuji, like, jumps over a car after Yuta, like, cuts it in half. Then goes through just a good old fashioned Hummer, grabs I want to say a Bowie knife, and like tries fighting Yuta off with it. Eventually, both their weapons break, and Yuji's thinking, "I got this in the bag. I can win." And then suddenly, we just hear come out of the shadows, Rika manifesting to hold Yuji down as he is stabbed through the heart by Yuta. Now, thankfully, as anyone who has seen this far into the series knows, Yuji is not dead. He survives because Yuta was entrusted by Gojo about a month before this happens that he needs to watch over the first and second years of Jujutsu High, otherwise, or Tokyo Jujutsu High, because he's strong enough he can handle it, and Gojo can sense something big's coming. Anyway, Gojo was right. He got sealed in Shibuya after popping ult on a bunch of transfigured humans. But anyway, after this, we cut back to Naoya versus Chozo, and we think, oh man, Naoya is beating the brakes off of Chozo. And Chozo just decides, nah, I'd win, and just like uses like I want to say like convergence or something to be able to see, uh, just be able to sense Naoya's cursed energy better. And keep in mind, Naoya is a top of the line sorcerer who uses projection sorcery, which is just like his father, allows him to move in a predetermined path at 24 frames per second, allowing him to be one of the virtually fastest sorcerers of his era. And his dad, who has recently died due to, Jogo jumping everyone in Shibuya, um, but that's a different topic. Basically, due to this, he's would be the Zenin clan head according to his father's will, But then we get into a small issue which has a clause in there that says if Gojo is dead or incapacitated, Megami Fushiguro automatically becomes the new clan head of the Zenin clan. And well, after Shibuya, Gojo's a little in the prison realm, so he can't really have anyone contest Megami's succession to being the head of the Zenin clan. So after this, we um, yeah. So Naoya is sorry, I just accidentally smacked the mic. But anyway, Naoya is mad due to the fact that he's not the clan head, so he has a plot which is to kill Megami. Which by doing that, he was going to kill Yuji because he was going to use his dead body as bait for Megami to come and try and help him, and then he was going to get jumped. Well, anyway, um, Chozo is not letting any of that happen, and he just decidedly put straight Delta ass on Naoya, like talking about beating him so bad just by predicting his moves. Like I think he slaps him mid move and that shocks him, so he just shanks Chozo in the stomach with like a Tonto or something. He's like, "Oh, it's cowardly of me to carry a weapon, and I hate my older brothers for it." While he's monologuing about that, Chozo like traps him with blood and starts talking about it's so sickening that you hate your older brothers. They provide an example for you. So then he just starts raining supernova down upon Naoya and gets him like trapped in place. So that way, he gets beaten up and he's about to finish him off when Yuta comes back and basically hits him with a vibe check, just hits him across the face and knocks him out. And then Naoya's like, "Oh, thanks for saving me. Yeah, I killed Yuji. Go ahead and report that." Yeah, I don't know who this is. I don't. Just make it. Anyway, so he's basically on the ground throwing up because of the toxic poison that was in the blood of Chozo since he's a cursed womb death painting. Um, so yeah, um, that's just the first few fights. There's still more build up though, because now we cut forward a bit and we see Yuji's early childhood memories of his dad holding him after he's born, and then his grandfather's in the room, and he's saying, "I don't trust that woman. Like she died, and yet you were still able to have her kid." And it's just like, don't talk about that in front of Yuji. Babies remember a lot. It's like I don't trust Kaori, and she comes in and is like, "What's the matter, father?" And she has Kenjaku's head scars, but he'd been committed to the bit for so long they'd actually healed over and were scars instead of stitches. So naturally, that brings a lot of implications into the series. That post that, she's Kenjaku through Yuji's mom is looking for the prison realm, and it gets to be about 2017 because Yuji's born in like a few years prior to that, probably about 5 years before Gato's death, maybe 5 or 6. Anyway, um, but yeah, that's a bit off trail. Anyway, after that, it cuts to Yuji waking up with Yuta, and he's like, "Oh, thank goodness you survived." Yeah, so and then of course this goes into the explanation of Gojo trusted him with the first and second years, and how Yuji's on secret execution just like Yuta was a year prior. Um, so naturally, this transitions into Megami showing up and talking to Yuji. Like, dude, we got to get you back to Jujutsu High. As long as we hide your face, we'll be fine. And Yuji starts playing the, but 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 I killed a lot of people in Shibuya. And then Megami's like, dude, I popped Maharaga. We got that kill streak, not you. We we got a bunch of assists because I popped my strongest tool and you got taken over whenever you got fed 10 fingers. It's alright. Mistakes happen. Just don't pass out while fighting someone again. Something like that may happen again. So anyway, after afterwards, it shows Chozo shows up. They give him the rundown of like, yeah, we can find Tengen based on me finding my cursed womb brothers. So let's go back to Jujutsu High. They basically sneak in and they meet up with Maki and the one lady, the black hole mass manipulator lady. I kind of forgot her name. Uh, I'd call her a bum if you want. I don't care. Um, Basically, they all meet up with her and Maki, and it's like, okay, yeah, let's go talk to Tengen. They just go down to the tomb of like the star and everything, and as they're going down there, they pass where Toji 200 pumped Riko Amanai 12 years prior, you know, to while he was trying to kill Gojo, but that kind of failed. So once they're down there, the room's all blank and everything, and it's like, oh man, like I guess Tengen's rejecting us. Yeah, let's leave. Then as they're leaving, Tengen just spawns in behind him. It's like, where do you guys think you're going? Don't you want to meet with me? So anyway, that's how episode 2 ends. Episode 1 like ended with Yuji quote unquote dying. Uh, so yeah. Uh, Whenever the season gets more developed in, I'll drop a thing on that. Maybe I'll do some other JJK type videos, like explaining season 1 and 2, notable events, talking about the Culling games. Speaking of which, this is going to be a good arc because one, it's Mappa and they won't fumble it, and that just reminds me of another thing. They they are one of the few animes that was able to make 3D look proper, like not like Baki did, not like Berserk did. They're pulling a generational run like JoJo's is with Steel Ball Run. How everyone said, "Oh, Steel Ball Run can't be done because of the horses." Well, it's being done despite the horses. So yeah, the 3D is not the problem, but like there was a lot of 3D that was well hidden. Like whenever Yuji was getting chased down by the curses in episode 1, that you could see all of the 3D if you paid attention and were looking out for it, which is I was kind of because I had a feeling like 5 minutes into the first episode that I was making this video. So I've had plenty of time to think about that. That was like around an hour ago whenever I started episode 1. So yeah, overall it's about a 9.5 out of 10 adaptation, which is saying a lot because it covered a lot of like the pacing was I'm pretty sure they got through most all of the first volume of Perfect Preparation as an arc, and Culling Games is approaching, and with Megami mentioning the Culling Games, we got to see a cool detail. It was showing off all of the big players that were going to be in it. Like we got to see Kashimo, we got to see that one dude that had the receipts, Reggie. I think we got shown a glimpse of Higuruma. But with that, we got to see all the big players, which is really ironic because at first with the promotional, Kashimo was not shown at all, but now we've gotten a glimpse of him. So I already know him and Hikari's fight is going to be at peak. Like it's going to be one of the biggest fights we've seen in a while. Um, like for instance, I think it's going to be on the level of hype that I'm trying not quite on internet breaking levels the same way that Jiren versus Goku was. No, I think that'll be Gojo and Sukuna's fight. I forecast that hitting around the same level as the Jiren Goku fight at the end of Tournament of Power in terms of raw hype alone. But I personally I think that if they keep going at the pace they're going of faithfully adapting the manga into the anime and also keeping up with good fights and pacing, this will be a 10 out of 10 adaptation by the time Culling Games is done. And especially with the fact that they've got King New back for another intro after specials, because that alone was one of the factors that carried Shibuya as an arc, because it had a little rough pacing. Because, like, season 2 was like a 20 episode season, and only 4 episodes were not Shibuya. I think like actually no 5. 5 of them were not Shibuya, which granted was a good enough time to cover that arc, but it was a war arc, so I feel like it should have had it like not filler, but it should have incorporated the start of the Culling Games into it, like or at least perfect preparation to maybe about the beginning-ish part of episode 1 of season 3. But overall, that's just a minor nitpick. So anyway, with that, I bid you adieu. Hopefully that season 3 stays as good as season 2 was, because season 2 was peak fiction, in my opinion. Hand to the Bible, season 2 was peak fiction. Anyway, goodbye, and I hope Hikari's fight carries.